Dog-style academic champion beauty X mixed-race arrogant big shot, dressed in the background of ancient keyboard online games and reality text 1v1 double clean SC, the strongest female player in the first region of the game, laughing Dream Jianghu, flying turtle, was forced to marry by the top player in the region's server, Krypton Gold, through live streaming, attracting all game players to eat their hearts out. On the live broadcast, Ensi Ruo, who was forced to marry, politely refused and had no choice but to drag down the district's #1 who had been absent for years, threatening that he would not marry unless he did. But what she didn't expect was that her confession scene turned into a scene of social death, and she was listened to throughout by this district leader. Even the video of the confession scene was uploaded to the internet and forwarded as a hot topic. From now on, wherever she goes, that district leader will go. Where did the melon-eating crowd follow? Some even post and serialize on game forums. All server players instantly become CP fans. Chasing the watchtower for over 10,000 yuan. At this point, Ensi Ruo's peaceful gaming life was completely shattered, with no more days of peace. In despair, she shouted in the game. My confession that day was fake. All of them are fake. When all the CP fans in the server had their dreams shattered, the first person in the region spoke up, if your confession is fake, then it's enough for me to be happy if it's true. Sweet and innocent, both young and old. Keywords of the novel. After confessing in front of the entire server, she was chased back by the big shots without a pop-up window. After confessing in front of the entire server, she was chased back by the big shots for downloading the complete TXT collection. After confessing in front of the entire server, she was chased back by the big shots for reading the latest chapter. Chapter 1. Something big happened. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Something big happened. Ensi Ruo. After receiving the resume, a hint of surprise flashed in the interviewer's eyes. Yes. Ensi Ruo, sitting across from him, nodded respectfully, wearing a white shirt and slim-fitting suit paired with sneakers. He wore a simple high ponytail tied to the back of his head, dressed neatly and simply. The stiff black framed glasses cover most of the face, while a pair of peach blossom eyes remain bright. The skin is white and the lips are red, delicate like warm jade, allowing for a glimpse of the beauty after removing the glasses. The interview she came to participate in today is for Lingdao Games, the largest gaming company in China, which collaborates with major universities to provide employment opportunities for college students in the project. Dream Toucher. You are very famous in your class at C University of Technology. I have seen the text game you independently created. Can you tell me where your inspiration comes from and how you built the main program of the game? The interviewer asked. NC takes a deep breath. She is an excellent student in the computer science program at her current C University of Technology. Since entering her senior year, her GPA has never dropped below 4.0 throughout the semester. Among all the competitions I participated in, my grades were the worst and also ranked third. My academic performance was enough to surpass the others. For her, the current issue is like an open book exam, without any difficulty. She fully revealed her answers, spoke at a slow and clear pace, and responded with ease without any signs of nervousness. Well, the idea is very innovative, and we have done a great job in the architecture of the game's main program. The responsible interviewers nodded one after another. Outside the interview room, a tall man leaned against the door and yawned. His attire and attire were no different from those of recent college graduates who came to interview next to him, with only an employee badge belonging to Lingdao Games hanging on his chest. Wearing a pair of white Bluetooth earphones on his ears, he looked lethargic and absent-mindedly listening to all the movements coming from the earphones during the ongoing interview. Until he finished listening to Ensi Ruo's words, the man became slightly interested and carefully examined the resume, which was originally just a decoration for the interviewer. He quickly scanned the name and photo above, and down, he saw the content written by the other person in his resume. Laughing Dream Jianghu, beta player, the first region, ID, Flying Turtle. Surprisingly, it's her. He raised his eyebrows and had a smirk on his face. World, Lemon doesn't stay up late. XDM, go live on Tiger Cat. Famous Krypton tycoon, not short of money, live confession. The object is a flying turtle. World, Sunset Shishan. Sleeping Trough. She is the most mysterious female player in the first region that I know, who has never shown her face or spoken before a flying turtle. World, 30-year-old male high school student. It's her. First on the shadow profession ranking in the first region. 5th overall ranking. The most difficult to distinguish between male and female players in this server. On a weekday afternoon on Friday, in the Com Games World channel, this news was like a thunderbolt thrown down from the ground, instantly exploding many onlookers. Anyone who has played Laughing Dream Jianghu knows the reputation of this player, who doesn't want money. He is the first Krypton tycoon to receive an official exclusive title. He is also the first player in the game to unlock the Krypton Gold achievement of Abundant Wealth. Even made it to the homepage of the game's official website due to excessive spending. Famous throughout the district. For him, throwing 100,000 yuan to build a grade A guild is just a sprinkle of water. Since the game's beta testing, the money spent in the game can be used to make a down payment for a large flat floor in the city center of Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. Just right for his ID. Not short of money. However, the female protagonist who was confessed by such a big spender is still in the dark at this time, Ensi Ruo. Hurry up to the dormitory. Something big is going on. When my roommate Yutauzi called, Ensi Ruo happened to have finished the interview. She picked up the phone and lowered her head slightly, quickly walked to the corner of the elevator, ready to go downstairs and leave the Lingdao Game Company building. There are still many people riding in the elevator, almost all of whom are here for the interview, and most of them are of the same age as Ensi Ruo, but apart from her, almost all of them are male. Just like the C University where she studied, the gender ratio is extremely imbalanced. Ensi Ruo asked, "What's wrong?" A live broadcast was held on the Tiger Cat platform. It was said to confess to you in front of everyone. The game is going to explode. Yutauzi's anxious voice came from her phone. Ensi Ruo exclaimed in a low voice, "What?" The elevator was narrow, and even though Ensi Ruo had already shrunk in a corner and deliberately lowered her voice, her conversation with Yutauzi was still overheard by people on the side. And this person is the man who just stood at the door of the conference room. The height of the man is much higher than that of the 1.68-meter girl, Ensi Ruo. With wide shoulders and narrow waist, he has a perfect inverted triangle figure. When standing next to Ensi Ruo, just a shadow is enough to envelop Ensi Ruo, exuding a strong aura. Under the light, the man's facial shadows have clear and scattered boundaries, sharp lines, sharp and profound, and are mysterious and charming, just like mixed-race children. A pair of green eyes were like aristocrats emerging from fairy tales. He slightly raised his chin, facing the elevator door, but the remaining light seemed to glance lightly at Ensi Ruo beside him. Just at this moment, Ensi Ruo was busy answering the phone and didn't even notice the presence of the man. She lowered her head, pursed her lips anxiously, and had a serious expression, looking very embarrassed. Upon seeing this, the man's mouth curled up with a restrained curve, and he remained silent as if laughing or observing a performance, showing great interest. But Ensi Ruo is suffering. In the game, she has always regarded, not lacking money, as a regular teammate and has no good impression of him. Now, being suddenly confessed by the other party, she felt nothing but panic in her heart. "I'll be back soon." After speaking, Ensi Ruo hung up the phone, got off the elevator, returned the temporary entry and exit permit to the front desk, and the man with a mixed-race face deliberately stopped walking. Until Ensi Ruo's figure disappeared from sight, the man gave up and prepared to leave. Just before turning around, I saw my colleague Tao Wenyao rushing inside in a hurry. "Lao Ren. Why are you here?" Aren't you the person who promised Gong Zhu to interview on his behalf today? Tao Wenyao said in surprise. Ren then said lightly, I'm not interested. Where are you planning to go in a hurry? Ren then asked back, shifting the topic. I heard that there were quite a few people attending this interview at RC University of Technology, and I was thinking of visiting my younger students to see their performance. Tao Wenyao said solemnly. But with the unfathomable gaze that followed his appointment, Tao Wenyao immediately collapsed. He awkwardly cleared his throat and said, What's that? Gong asked you to meet him before leaving work. If you're going to see the school flowers, it's already late. The interview is over. Without hesitation, Ren exposed him, withdrew his gaze, and turned to walk inside. Tao Wenyao was stunned and was about to ask Ren Yi how he knew about Shi's little plan. Without looking back, Ren Yi shouted at him, There are melons to eat in the game, can we go? Upon hearing some gossip, Tao Wenyao's eyebrows almost flew into the sky. He quickly chased after him and asked, Hey, what kind of melon? How could you all join in the fun? You'll know later. Ren raised his eyebrows and added a hint of evil energy. Reading instructions. 1. Ancient Keyboard online game article. The game background and main gameplay inspiration comes from the online game, Qiannu Yuhun OL, not an esports article. It's not an esports article. 2. Although this article is based on online gaming, it still needs to focus on real-life content. 3. Do not enter if you do not like it, do not leave comments to find a sense of existence, and all comments copied from someone will be deleted and blocked. 4. The male lead is sullen, slightly dark, and a bit arrogant. He may not be too enthusiastic about the female lead on the surface at first, but in reality, he is very careful and warm-hearted, and has gained super love. 5. All the characters, internet names, events, etc. mentioned in the article have no prototypes, so please do not use the same names. 6. Does the deputy CP check their mood? The main CP is always the first. 7. Non-code words are full time, so the update time is usually at night or in the middle of the night. 8. Gifts and rewards should be given within one's ability, and it is recommended to subscribe more often. 9. There are no fan groups or welfare groups, just circle and read books. I hope everyone focuses on real life at all times. 10. Online game articles of the same type with similar gameplay backgrounds can be viewed by clicking on the author's homepage and clicking on Heard of the First Secret Love for Her for a long time, early articles, immature writing, but full text free. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Isn't this forced marriage? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 2. Isn't this forced marriage? You've got it. It's a mess in the game. Yu Taozi, the roommate, hurriedly gathered together. Ensi Ruo, who was racing back to the dormitory on his bicycle, covered his chest and panted heavily, looking as if he had been exercising excessively. How long has he been broadcasting? Ensi Ruo asked, shaking the mouse to light up the computer screen, entering the lock screen password, and the game interface took over the entire screen. The game is called Laughing Dream Jianghu, and is a fantasy online game developed by Fireworks Studio, a subsidiary of Lingdao Game Company. The gameplay is diverse and innovative, with exquisite and highly free characters. There are 4 major sects and 8 professions in the game, each with a rich personal main storyline and full character design, and the side storyline is also equally fascinating. Once tested and released, the game received countless positive reviews, dominating major game review websites for 3 consecutive years with the highest download volume and exceptionally high ratings. If Ensi is a beta player of this game, it has been more than 3 years since I first started playing this game in my freshman year. I have been diligently climbing from a novice to the 5th highest comprehensive strength ranking in the first major region of Laughing Dream Jianghu. It's been almost half an hour now. After opening the live broadcast, I was crazily speeching and even posting cross-server content, causing a storm in the city. Now the entire game's players are waiting in his live broadcast room to eat melon. He also said that as long as his confession is successful, he will give big guys a gold ingot red envelope in the world. Yu Taozi replied solemnly, his expression even more serious than Ensi Ruo's. In the game, Laughing Dream Jianghu, players earn two types of currency: silver taels and silver notes. The former is the currency used by players to purchase items, while the latter can only be obtained through the main mission storyline and is only used to purchase items from official stores. And Jin Yuan Bao is a real money. Not short of money, isn't it just using public expectations to kidnap her and force her into marriage? Ensi furrowed her brows, only then did she realize the seriousness of the matter and quickly turned her gaze to the world channel next to the game interface. Sure enough, the topics discussed by everyone on this sub-world channel are consistent, and everyone is gossiping about the good money confession, discussing the possibility of grabbing red envelopes later. Ensi Ruo took a deep breath, cancelled the idle state, and opened the friend private chat dialog box. Private chat, not poor money. Can we have a team voice chat and have something to say to you? After taking a glance at the private chat messages that filled the entire chat box, Ensi Ruo put on her headphones and clicked into the fixed team voice channel. Yu Taozi cleverly returned to her computer and clicked on the Not Missing Money live broadcast room. After the prompt sound for entering the channel started, the boy who had been waiting for a long time in the channel immediately said, "You're here." Ensi Ruo spoke up and asked, "What can I do for you?" In an instant, the entire live broadcast screen was filled with barrage from the onlookers. The female lead appears, "I rely on the flying turtle. She's really a woman. The sound is quite pleasant, I was tempted." Yu Taozi frowned and quickly typed out a sentence in the private chat box of the game, "Tao Jiao. The people in his live broadcast room are all talking about you." Ensi Ruo also opened the live streaming web page. "Didn't your friend, Taoji Yao Yao, tell you?" the boy asked. The next second after the live streaming room webpage was loaded, Ensi Ruo saw the eye-catching title of the live streaming room. Live Confession. If successful, he would receive a gold ingot red envelope. She suddenly became displeased and her voice became slightly colder. "I said it. That's just right, I don't need to explain too much." After speaking, the live broadcast page showed the boy clicking on his game backpack. Ensi Ruo suddenly had an ominous feeling and quickly switched back to his game interface. As expected, Not Poor Money made a marriage proposal request to himself at the game NPC, Matchmaker. Even in the dowry section, a divine-level weapon that is extremely rare in the game and can only be auctioned and traded in the treasure pavilion. The purple gold wild goose feather blade. Yu Taozi, who was watching, was surprised to see this behind the scenes and opened her mouth wide. The three major regions of Laughing Dreams in the Jianghu have only been able to obtain this divine-level weapon at auction houses through bidding with other players since its opening, and the rarity level can be imagined. The advanced players on the leaderboard have even gone bankrupt in the game in order to grab such a divine weapon. But that's not the point. The key point is that this weapon is only suitable for use by the shadow profession, and, Not Poor Money, yes, the game profession is Divine Arrow, and this weapon cannot be used against him. That is to say, Not for Money was specifically designed for Ensi Ruo to auction off this divine-level weapon at the treasure pavilion. The barrage in the live broadcast room exploded instantly, WOC. "Isn't this the highest-priced weapon at the treasure pavilion auction recently, boss? This is really not lacking in money. I actually bought it. Regardless of whether the female protagonist is moved or not, I will cry first as a tribute. It's truly worthy of being not short of money. Even these divine weapons are willing to give away," sighed Tao Wenyao. Ren then remained silent, just staring at the live broadcast on the computer screen. Tao Wenyao said again, "If I were a flying turtle, I would definitely be moved to agree on the spot." Ren then glanced at him and coldly revealed, "You agreed because of that purple gold wild goose feather saber, right?" Tao Wenyao shrugged and said, "Who can refuse? Not only is it a divine-level weapon, but it is also a divine-level weapon with all the 7 unique attributes of the Shadow Profession's skills +2. Ren then withdrew his gaze and looked at the live streaming web page on the computer, calmly saying, "Someone will refuse." The barrage in the live broadcast room has already exploded, and everyone is eager to replace it, but the protagonist has yet to move. Taozi Yao Yao. He won't really come, will he? Yu Taozi quickly typed down a sentence and sent it out. Flying turtle. What should I do now? Taizio. I haven't experienced it before and I don't know. You, the school flower, are confessed every day in school. In theory, your experience is richer than mine, isn't it? Flying turtle. The boys in our school wouldn't make such a big announcement, Tao Jiao. I reasonably suspect that you have prejudice against the boys from our C University of Technology. Ensi Ruo, sitting upright in front of the computer, frowned tightly. After a moment, she still clicked refuse. Although her weapon attributes and level are not as good as the one she was supposed to give her, she has a slight impression of it. I don't have any plans to sell myself just because of this weapon. She can fight for what she wants on her own. If, not short of money, really likes and cares about her, he wouldn't use such a nearly forced way to force her to accept everything in front of everyone. Fang Zhe. She spoke, yes. Before he could finish speaking, Fang Zhe interrupted in his voice, listen to me first. I know it's not very realistic for you to suddenly accept me, so I'm also prepared to be rejected. This weapon, treat it as my intention. Can you accept it first? Fang Zhe asked, pretending to be cautious. Ensi Ruo frowned and said in a cold and resolute tone, no, I'm sorry. Why? Is there anything I did wrong? Fang Zhe asked. Yu Taozi wore earphones and listened to these conversations clearly during the live broadcast. She was too lazy to pay attention to the barrage of gossip, so she quickly switched back to the game. Tao Jiao. I feel like if you don't be more ruthless, he won't give up. The flying turtle. So I'll just delete my friend. Taizio. We are fixed teammates and members of the same gang. It's useless to look up and down in the game. Flying turtle. So what do you say? If Ensi was in such a hurry, his fingers would quickly dance on the keyboard and type this sentence, and his entire CPU would almost burn out. She is really not good at rejecting other people's confessions. Faced with Fang Zhe's questioning, she sighed and planned to force herself to refuse again when her roommate Yu Taozi's reply came. Taozi Yao Yao. If it really doesn't work, just say you have someone you like. Maybe he'll give up on difficulties. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. I will not marry him. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. I will not marry him. Ensi frowned tightly. The flying turtle. What if he doesn't believe it? Taozi Yao Yao. Then let's talk about someone you both know, but he can't fight or dare not provoke. This way, he will know the difficulty and retreat. I know both, not short of money, but, not short of money, is someone who cannot be defeated and dares not provoke. Ensi Ruo began a brainstorming session. After a moment, she perked up as if she had remembered something. She quickly opened the leaderboard in the upper right corner of the game interface, right-click on the ID at the top, and confirmed that the ID was still gray, feeling secretly happy. I refuse you because I already have someone I like, she said without hesitation. Fang Zhe. Who? You probably don't want to make up someone to fool me, do you? I asked Taozi Yao Yao before, and she said you don't have a boyfriend. Yu Taozi. Ensi Ruo's eyeblade directly scraped towards Yu Taozi and confidently replied, no, it's not fabricated. You also know the person I like. Do I know? Fang Zhe was surprised. Yes, the person I like is Suixing Tianxia, who ranks first in comprehensive combat power in our largest region. As soon as these words were spoken, the live streaming barrage completely exploded. Sleeping trough. The great god of the world. What kind of heartfelt confession of the goddess, and the result of the goddess's stomach ache scene, SRDS, isn't the legend of the world's great gods an official support? That's to say, a normal person who doesn't join a guild, doesn't make friends, doesn't have a fixed teammate, wears divine clothing, and consistently ranks first on the PvP leaderboard. What else can it be without official support? Do you like accompanying the world? Fong Zhe's tone was somewhat incredulous. Seeing this, Ensi quickly nodded and admitted, yes. I like to follow the world. He ranks first on the PvP list, with high combat power and strong strength. His skills and operations are impeccable, and he never participates in those meaningless disputes in the game. He is completely a clean slate. So I admire him. And it has been a long time. Ensi Ruo recited all his last-minute words at an astonishing speed. However, this also highlights her urgent desire to secretly love the other party for a long time. As for this accompanying the world, she had read some gossip on game forums before and knew about the top god on the list of Suixing Tianxia. This account was born a few years ago, and after winning a 10-game winning streak at the first official PvP arena competition, it has been firmly ranked first on the Laughing Dream Jianghu PvP list, with comprehensive strength dominating the list to this day. At first, everyone thought that some giant had appeared, and they were all digging for his food with a desire to eat melons, but they never thought that he would follow the world except for PvP arena competitions and dungeons. He never appears in front of everyone. He has no gang, no partner, and even no gossip. Looking at the pile of divine-level equipment and those incredible data on him, even a normal person would think he has a problem. Later on, as expected, Suixing Tianxia really made it to the game forum 818 post, and being exposed was just an official excuse. Although that post has been deleted now, the identity of Suixing Tianxia and her fact that she never comes and will not participate in in-game player disputes can help her who urgently needs to escape at this moment. As long as she can refuse Fong Zhe, she can fully recover and continue to live her own peaceful life. Although I have never had much interaction with him, he is the most perfect existence in my heart. Ensi Ruo paused, then took a deep breath and spoke again, I won't marry unless he does. Go for it. On the scene of a true confession. Everyone cried for me. What kind of idol drama-style secret love monologue do I rely on? Why not marry me, big shot? I am also a shadow professional. I can change gender for you. This can be considered the most sensational confession since the launch of our game, Laughing Dream Jianghu. Confession of true feelings, touching. What do you think? Tao Wenyao asked, sitting in his position with his back to Ren, watching the live stream on the computer screen with a web page, as if watching the live stream didn't make a big deal out of it. Ren in front of the computer said with a smile on his face, I don't have any feelings, it's not the first time. You can just pretend. Tao Wenyao cursed in his heart, then turned his gaze back to the computer and said, with so many people watching, this server cannot give a reply first. Reply. Ren raised his eyebrows lightly and asked in response, so what do you think should be replied to as the first on the entire server? Tao Wenyao. Reply to his feelings. Bored. Ren then let out a soft sigh, with a calm expression and handsome eyebrows and eyes. He raised his hand, pressed the mouse to hide the web page, opened the game client, and entered his account and password to log in and enter the game. At the same time, the World channel refreshed a message, System World. Player accompanying the world has been launched, ranking first in this region for 393 consecutive days. Players, come and greet me. Welcome the player online. What is the situation? In the once bustling World channel, a system message with a special light effect font appeared in front of everyone. Before Ensi Ruo could react, another cross-server speaker refreshed and covered the top of the dialog box, cross-server accompanying the world. Thank you for your sincere confession, but I don't have that idea at the moment. Ensi stared wide-eyed. What situation? Isn't it said that the great deity of the world is an official trust? Isn't it that he won't be involved in the disputes and gossip in these games? Why? Why did he suddenly appear? And why is he also eating melons? Hey, wait. The deity knew about her confession, even responded with a loudspeaker, politely refusing her on the grounds of not having that idea. So isn't she now equivalent to being rejected on the spot in front of the entire server, the players of the game, and even all the viewers watching the live broadcast, after confessing to Suixing Tianxiao? Isn't this the legendary scene of social death? Ensi Ruo's expression changed from sunny to gloomy, and as he sat in front of the computer, his brain overloaded and he crashed. Half a minute later, she gradually regained her sanity and restarted under the soft call of her roommate Yutauzi. After realizing what she had done, she quickly and decisively pressed the computer shutdown button. Don't run at this moment, wait even longer. Goodbye. Her originally peaceful gaming life. What's the situation? Why did the female lead suddenly go offline? Tao Wenyao, who was watching the live broadcast with great enthusiasm, leaned forward. Ren pressed down the curve of his mouth and said lightly, maybe the dormitory has lost power. Tao Wenyao had no doubt and agreed, it's also possible. Do you remember when we were still at C University of Technology? That old dormitory building keeps cutting off power all the time, and I've been playing dungeons several times because of this and died. I'm angry just thinking about it. Yes, the dormitories at C University of Technology are indeed like this. Ren rarely harmed anyone, but lowered his voice and continued, C University of Technology. After speaking, Ren slowly raised the corner of his mouth. Without the female lead in the live broadcast, Tao Wenyao lost interest in an instant and left unhappily. Ren then raised his eyes and glanced at the live broadcast room without the female lead. Without any attachment, he closed it and switched back to his own game interface. In the misty rain, the water vapor is hazy, and the river flows through the areas surrounded by lotus flowers. The lotus leaves sway lightly, and the sound of rain is clear and crisp. In the corner of an unmanned temple in Hangzhou, a man in a long blue shirt hides behind a blue stone wall, holding an oil paper umbrella with warm eyebrows and eyes. Ren in front of the computer blinked at the same time as the game character, raised his hand and moved the mouse to open the plus sign in the bottom right corner of the friend list. After a window to add friends popped up, he calmly entered an ID. Flying Turtle. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Ren Dashen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Ren Dashen. If Ensi crashes and restarts, it will take only 3 days, almost driving her crazy. She is currently in her senior year and can count a week's classes with just one finger of her hand. Although there is no need for additional credits, there is still a big stone blocking the way for the graduation thesis. And she finally passed the written test of Lingdao game and entered the interview, but who knew that the notification of the interview result had not been received yet, which made her anxious and anxious. At this critical moment, games have become her only outlet for stress. Unfortunately, she has recently been at the forefront of gaming gossip, with various gossiping posts on gaming forums about her relationship with Not Poor Money and Following the World. Even the entire video of the live broadcast confessing to her was posted on Weibo, surrounded by a bunch of people. All these things combined, collapse is a matter of time. How come these people's imagination is so outrageous? When did I and Not Poor Money get out and in right? I was in a fixed team, brushing daily, okay. And this, when did I wear a couple's outfit with Not Poor Money? That's the fashion for the new game event. Everyone has it on the street. The most outrageous thing is still this. Our team of 5 people were killing monsters and spending time with friends in the wilderness, but how could it become intimate with him? There are still 3 big living people left nearby, can't we see them? Calm down. Calm down. Let's stop reading. Yu Taozi comforted her and casually closed the nth post on the game forum discussing gossip, skillfully shifting the topic. At this moment, Ensi felt angry and spoke haphazardly, until her thoughts were interrupted by a newly received message prompt sound, "Hello Ensi Ruo. I am Yi Jia, a human resources representative from Lingdao Game Company. I am pleased to inform you that your job interview has been approved. Congratulations on becoming a member of the company. Please bring your personal information to the Lingdao Game Company building, 23, Jinsi East Road, for reporting before 9 a.m. next Tuesday, September 12. Ensi Ruo widened his eyes and stared at the text message for half a minute before regaining consciousness. He foolishly repeated, "I passed." What passed? Yu Taozi didn't react for a moment and was still busy doing her own game tasks. "I said I passed the interview for Lingdao Games. I'll report next Tuesday." Ensi Ruo replied loudly, his angry expression just now absent, his small face filled with the words excited. "Really?" Upon hearing this, Yu Taozi quickly jumped up from her chair, took Ensi Ruo's phone, carefully read the message, and excitedly hugged Ensi Ruo. Two people excitedly shouted and filled the small dormitory. "Let's go have a barbecue to celebrate tonight. Let's call Xiao Yuan together." Yu Taozi exclaimed excitedly. Xiao Yuan and Wu Xiyuan are their roommates and the second person to find a job in the dormitory. Now they are interning in an internet company and temporarily living in the school dormitory. "Okay. Have barbecue. I'll message her now." Speaking, Ensi Ruo picked up his phone again and planned to send a message. Yu Taozi casually placed her head on Ensi Ruo's shoulder and said, "Hey, I heard that Ren Dashen seems to be on the side of the Spirit Island game now. If you go there, will you meet Ren Dashen?" Ren Dashen, Ren Yi, was a former genius at C University of Technology. Like Ensi Ruo, Yu Taozi, and others, he is also a software engineering student who has set a full semester GPA, received 3 national scholarships, and won 3 national level awards. Despite being 3 years older than them and having graduated for several years, their legend still exists today and is revered by many people in the college as the God of Learning. When Ensi Ruo enrolled, Ren followed him in his junior year and gained popularity in the college. His miraculous deeds had already spread throughout the campus, with countless admirers. And at that time, Ensi Ruo was just one of those admirers. Upon hearing Yu Taozi suddenly mention the name, Ensi Ruo's fingertips trembled slightly, and her expression somehow lost the excitement she had just experienced. She just continued typing and said lightly, "How could it be so easy to meet someone?" Yu Taozi was completely unaware and continued, "They all work in the same building, maybe. When Ren Dashen was still in school, we would bow to Ren Dashen's photo at the end of the semester, praying that we wouldn't fail if we passed. I don't know how Ren Dashen is now. Is he still as handsome as before, and does he have a girlfriend?" Ensi Ruo remained silent and only said after seeing the reply from her roommate Wu Xiyuan on her phone, "Xiao Yuan said it's okay, she doesn't need to work overtime today." "Okay. Let's go to the barbecue restaurant and wait for her when it's after 8 o'clock later." Got a reply, Yu Taozi continued playing the game. After the evening, Ensi Ruo and Taozi left the school gate together and went to the barbecue street near C University of Technology. They met up with their roommate Wu Xiyuan and had a small barbecue celebration before rushing back to the dormitory in front of the entrance control. The 3 of them all drank a little alcohol and felt dizzy. They decided to go back to the dormitory and fall asleep. Before climbing onto the bed, Ensi Ruo couldn't help but look at his desk, staring at the computer, pursed his lips, and unconsciously tightened his grip on the bed railing. It's been 3 days now, and now it's almost midnight, so not many people in the game will notice her online, right? Just casually log in and take a look at your account, should you be okay? A small thought immediately occupied Ensi Ruo's head, and the movement of getting ready to climb onto the bed came to a complete halt. Yu Taozi had already fallen asleep, and her roommate Wu Xiyuan happened to be 1 step late when she came out of the bathroom to go to bed. Seeing Ensi Ruo's movements, she whispered, are you still asleep? You go to bed first, I'll turn on the computer and look at something. It'll be quick, just a few minutes, and I'll turn off the light. Wu Xiyuan nodded and said, okay. Ensi Ruo sat back in front of his computer, adjusted his breathing slightly, and then pressed the power button. In just over 10 seconds, the computer started up and a simple and clean desktop was displayed on the screen. At the top center of the screen, the icon of the game launcher for Laughing Dream Jianghu is particularly prominent. Ensi Ruo's expression was serious, as if he had made a great decision. He reached out to move the mouse and double-click the icon. In an instant, the familiar game login tool popped up and automatically logged in to the account saved in the cloud. After loading, the game interface appeared. At the same time, World Channel refreshed the news as usual, System World. Player Flying Turtle has been launched, ranking 6th in the entire region for 211 consecutive days in combat power. Players are here to welcome the player's launch. Ensi Ruo's gaze suddenly tightened and he stared at the World Channel for a while. After confirming that no one was gossiping about him, he breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately it's midnight. After talking to himself, Ensi Ruo instinctively turned his head to look at the two roommates on the bed behind him, turned off the dormitory headlights with ease, and then sat back at the computer desk again. She moved her body and was about to play the daily activities of the game when she realized that the friend icon in the bottom right corner of the game interface was flashing. Someone messaged her in the middle of the night. Can't it be, not lacking money? If Ensi's face showed signs of embarrassment, but now the system prompts for the game's launch have been flashed, and he can't run at all. After a light sigh, she frowned and clicked on the friend icon, system message. Player accompanying the world requests to add you as a friend. Agree, reject. Ensi Ruo blinked and said, ah. Is she crazy? Or is the game crazy? Or is this world crazy? End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Setting traps and completing with squatting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Setting traps and completing with squatting. Agree or reject. Just kidding. Of course it's the latter. After reflecting on it, Ensi chose the option of reject without hesitation. But suddenly there was an inexplicable sense of fear, feeling like I had done something wrong, feeling flustered in my heart. She clicked on the leaderboard, found Suishing Tianxia, right-click on her profile, and confirmed that the other person's ID is currently grayed out and not online. Although I don't know what kind of madness this great deity has gone through, she can't go crazy. She only rejected her confession with her front foot, and then ran over to add friends with her back foot. Who knows what plan she's making in her heart? Ensi Ruo reluctantly breathed a sigh of relief, and was greatly frightened by this trip. He immediately lost his daily focus and decided to go offline, turn off his computer, and go to sleep. In early September, the heat in Nanjing City, which is adjacent to the river and by the sea, remained hot, and the scorching heat had not yet completely dissipated. At the subway entrance of the Science and Technology Park, there is always a bustling group of people approaching work hours. Ren then yawned and casually put the work card around his neck, then walked slowly into the elevator of the company building. A newcomer who was familiar with him met and nodded in greeting, Brother Ren. Ren then forced a response from his throat, his black hair disheveled and fluffy, and his lazy appearance of not sleeping enough looked like a proud stuffed cat. As the elevator continued upwards, the number of people inside gradually decreased. Stopped on the 14th floor, the elevator door opened. Ren then regained some energy, took a right turn from the elevator, and walked into the office door at the end of the corridor, which read, Little Forest Game Project Team. Hey, who is that person? Asked another newcomer in the elevator. Keep it down, that's the main planner of our company's most anticipated mobile game project right now. The talent is sitting in this position at the age of 25. Can't you just call it, brother, So powerful. That's not. There are still a few minutes until work time, and there aren't many people in the spacious office. Ren had already become accustomed to it, skillfully checked in, walked to his desk, sat down, and shook his mouse. The computer screen, which had been running programs all night, and the nearby expansion screen suddenly lit up, with various letter codes mixed with numbers on it, making people dizzy. Ren followed with a calm expression on his face. He no longer looked a bit sleepy just now, but after carefully examining it with full concentration, his originally serious expression gradually relaxed. After a while, he opened another laptop next to him, repeated the actions of the past few days, and logged into the game of Laughing Dream Jianghu, System World. Player accompanying the world has been launched. The player's comprehensive strength has ranked first in this server for 397 consecutive days. Come and welcome the player to launch. The familiar online prompts were refreshed in the sparsely populated World channel in the morning, but everyone obviously didn't pay much attention. Ren followed his gaze downwards, thinking that today was still a peaceful place, but today it suddenly flickered. After clicking on the friend icon, a system pop-up window pops up. System message. Player Flying Turtle has rejected your friend ad request. Do you need to apply for ad again? Agree, reject. Sure enough, I ran away. He chuckled lightly, his face, which used to be calm, had a hint of turbulence on it, and the corners of his mouth were slightly raised. At this moment, the office door was pushed open again, and Tao Wenyao yawned as he walked. After seeing Ren sway, he asked, "What are you doing? What are you laughing at while staring at the computer?" "It's nothing," Ren replied lightly. "The rabbit I planned to catch just ran away." Rabbit. From Laughing Dream in the Jianghu. Tao Wenyao was puzzled and busy checking in to make coffee to wake up. Letting it go without saying a word is considered default. Set a trap and squat down, Tao Wenyao replied, yawning again. Trap. Ren raised his eyebrows, his expression thought-provoking. Tao Wenyao thought he was wrong when he saw him like this, so he foolishly answered, "Yes, aren't you talking about the rabbit caught and raised in Laughing Dream Jianghu? Ren then smiled and said, "Almost. Then just set up a trap and squat on it. I also caught a rabbit last time and brought it back home to raise it. It will be very fast, at most for more than 10 minutes. Ren then pursed his lips and smiled meaningfully, with a deep and three-dimensional western bone, accompanied by eyebrows and eyes full of eastern charm, and deep green eyes that seduced people and posed a danger. Like a wolf, staring at its prey. "It's time to squat down for a while," he murmured softly. He moved his mouse to the right and pressed agree. After brewing coffee, Tao Wenyao sat behind Ren with a cup in his hand. Just as he was about to drink coffee, a person's head suddenly rose across from his desk. The long black hair floats and completely covers the face, which is exactly the same as the ghost from the horror movie. Ah! Tao Wenyao screamed and was so scared that he almost spilled coffee, his soul still in shock. Ren was also drawn away by his movements and turned his head, saying, "Wishing you joy." Tao Wenyao widened his eyes and said, "Sister Yu." "No, Sister Yu, why are you so scary this morning?" Ren then asked, "Are you working overtime or are you coming early?" "The alarm clock is set at the wrong time, it's coming early, I'm trying to catch up." After speaking, the female ghost moved her body and tied her black long hair back to her head. Her phoenix eyes glanced coldly at Tao Wenyao and said, "The testing team reported 3 new bugs yesterday. Coming again." Tao Wenyao's hair exploded instantly. The previously quiet office suddenly became lively. Zhu Yu put on her headphones expressionlessly and faced the pile of code, choosing to ignore Tao Wenyao's howls and continue working. A day quietly passed by. In the female dormitory building of C University of Technology, the access control time had just passed and it was late at night again. Yu Taozi was wearing pajamas and pacing back and forth in the dormitory before turning off the lights. Are you saying follow the world to add you as a friend? Yu Taozi repeated Ensi Ruo's words just now. Ensi Ruo nodded and explained clearly what happened after playing the game last night. Why did he add you? Yu Taozi asked in reverse. Ensi Ruo said, how could I know? I have no grudges or grievances against him. Even if I had to confess to him, he would have rejected me in front of everyone. What kind of friend would he add now? Yu Taozi exclaimed, it's tricky. Wu Xiyuan, who had just applied the facial mask, interrupted. Could it be because you told him that he wanted to approach you? It's possible. Yu Taozi agreed. If Ensi holds an opposing opinion, he thinks this possibility is unlikely. She hesitated for a while before finally turning to face the computer screen and saying, forget it. I want to go online and do daily work. The familiar loading interface appeared, and the game's main city and characters appeared one after another. Ignoring the news from World Channel, Ensi Ruo's gaze lowered and he frowned again after seeing the flashing icon. What the hell is going on? Coming again. System World. The player Flying Turtle has been launched. The player's combat power has ranked 6th in the entire region for 212 consecutive days. Players come to welcome the player's launch. Ha, here comes the rabbit. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. What exactly are you doing? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. What exactly are you doing? System message. Player accompanying the world requests to add you as a friend. Agree, reject. What exactly do you want? Ensi Ruo murmured softly, her eyebrows almost twisted together. She had planned to ask her roommate for their opinion, but Yu Taozi went to take a shower. Wu Xiyuan was busy talking to her boyfriend on the phone, and no one helped her at all. Forget it. Ensi Ruo took a deep breath, moved the mouse to the right, and once again chose reject. She also felt embarrassed because she was rejected for publicly confessing. Moreover, she shouldn't have dragged them in. If there is less communication now, in the future, when the crowd erupts, it can also give innocent people a way to survive. Ensi Ruo wanted to return to his usual mindset. After rejecting this great deity, he typed a sentence on the World Channel, World, Flying Turtle. 137 daily, one incoming person hangs up to recharge, +++. Approaching the early morning workday, there are fewer people in the game, and the World Channel is not very lively. Everyone is either chatting or setting up a stall to sell things. Although Ensi Ruo's news has been noticed, no one is currently gossiping about her relationship with, not poor money, and it is still relatively calm. Just a few seconds after the message was sent, she received several applications to join the team. In no time, a team of 4 people came out. One more thing missing. Ensi Ruo muttered to himself. Team, Dreams of Mountains and Rivers. Great God, can you wait for my friend? He will come soon. Team, Flying Turtle. Alright, hurry up, it's almost 12 o'clock. Team, Dreaming of Mountains and Rivers. I'll urge him. As he spoke, Ensi Ruo also gave up the idea of calling out to the World Channel and patiently waited. After almost a minute, Ensi Ruo saw the team icon flickering in the lower right corner and thought it was the person's friend coming, so he quickly clicked on it. As a result, the character and ID that appeared in the application column left her stunned, traveling with the world. How did he come? Ensi was so dumbfounded that in the chaos, he even forgot about the fact that the team's application form was visible to all members of the team. Everyone in the team. Team, Dreaming of Mountains and Rivers. I'm going to tell my friend that there's no place left, Team, Ran Hongyue. Is this the real god of the world? Team, Colorful Wonton. Did we come at a bad time? Team, Flying Turtle. No. You came at the right time. A few people in the team channel saw that they had been rushing through the game forum with high intensity a few days ago. The pursuit of the Flying Turtle by the Not Poor Money live broadcast and the public confession of the Flying Turtle as the #1 on the entire server and following the world were very clear. Ensi Ruo's head was buzzing, and after forcing himself to calm down, he realized that there were more people on the application board of the team. Probably a friend called over by the person in the team. Ensi thought she should have let this person in, but for some reason, she felt dizzy in front of her and her head was also affected. Grasping the mouse in her hand and shaking it aside, she was supposed to put this person into the team. She refused the request to join the team for Follow the World, but suddenly reversed the order and rejected that person. On the contrary, people who should not have been included in the team were released. Done. After realizing it, Ensi exclaimed in surprise. Wu Xiyuan on the bed cast a glance at her and asked about the situation. It's okay, Ensi Ruo waved his hand. She turned her gaze back to the computer screen and looked at the only one among the avatars of the team on the left side of the screen, which, like herself, was a bright purple ID unique to players on the leaderboard. Sooner or later, chop off this hand. Always falling off the chain at critical moments. Not promising. Ensi Ruo gritted his teeth and right-click on a temporary private chat window. The warning for non-friend private chat above was extremely glaring. Flying Turtle. God, what do you really have to do? She forced out a smile and slowed down her tone and language. Accompanying the world. Isn't it about doing a daily dragon trip? I'm hanging up now. The man in front of the computer screen laughed exceptionally brightly. Even though he could see the helplessness in the other person's words, he completely ignored it and instead pretended to be foolish. It's like teasing a little rabbit with a temper, never getting tired of it, full of enthusiasm. The Flying Turtle. The person is full and wants to call his friend over. Ensi's words cannot be more tactful. I haven't waited for the person on the computer to reply yet. There's another new message in the team channel, Team, Dreams of Mountains and Rivers. I told my friend that there are no available seats here, and he has already cancelled his application to join the team. Thank you. Kind-hearted person. What are you so enthusiastic about at this time? Ensi Ruo suddenly felt a slight pain in his face. Team, accompanying the world. Thank you. Team, Dreams of Mountains and Rivers. No need, it's just a matter of hands. I'm here to make a living every day, Dashi Chong Chong. Is there anyone else who respects her? Do you still have any friends to call for? In the study of a high-rise apartment, after saying this, the man's low laughter became particularly prominent, and his smile became even more prominent. Flying Turtle. No. Ensi Ruo was inexplicably enraged, as if he was angry at his mouse button being pressed incorrectly just now, and as if he was angry at being teased by the other person like a small animal. Of course, the most frustrating thing is that even though I have a blank understanding of this person, I still feel embarrassed because my confession is rejected. Team, Flying Turtle. Follow the mission and enter the map. She quickly typed in the channel, summoned the Mount White Tiger, and led the team towards the task NPC in Hangzhou City. Doing daily tasks is something that every player in Laughing Dream Jianghu will never forget, and Ensi Ruo is no exception. Even she was able to paint all the small monsters and the appearance of the boss that came out of the tasks of one dragon, and she was skilled in every day's movements. As usual, she used to play with her teammates from a fixed team, and the equipment of several players was good, so she naturally started playing very quickly. Although she has changed to a wild team now, with her strength, one person can still lead a few members of the team to kill, but it just takes a little longer. Moreover, her level is higher than that of the wild teammates in the team who are hanging up, making those teammates clear monsters is actually much less efficient than her own. She was already prepared, and after entering the map, she skillfully added buffs, cancelled team members, and then walked into the monster group alone with the spirit beast. Just as she thought she was about to fight alone, blue ink dots scattered all over the sky, accurately hitting the group of monsters in front of her. In the real-time damage column caused by the team members in the upper left corner, a series of numbers were instantly displayed. Ensi Ruo was about to raise his hand and attack, but he was stunned for a moment and turned around to look. In the dimly lit map, weeds that are as tall as humans are growing freely, swaying and twisting in the wind, like evil spirits, swaying and shouting. A thunderbolt flashed by, and the sky seemed to be torn open. The man in a blue and white long shirt stood in the strong wind, tall and slender, with black hair tied up, ribbons fluttering, soared eyebrows and starry eyes, calmly looking ahead. Even the scenes behind us are chilling. The moment he raised his hand and waved his ink brush, his movements were crisp, agile, and powerful. Like a fairy who has broken into the purgatory, not a speck of worldly life. Woo-woo, I've been quite busy these past few days. Hurry up and work hard to come up with a chapter. I'll definitely make it up for QAQ on May Day. I love you all, and I'm looking for a wave of recommended tickets every day. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Is all fake. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 is all fake. Ensi remained motionless for a moment, stunned by this scene. She has never seen anyone play the profession of drawing hearts, but she has never seen anyone who can be so clear. The sleeves do not have any overly bright colors, the steps are steady, and the moment of waving the paintbrush, the moves are deadly, but they never show any trace of vulgarity. Those skill effects were not fancy decorations for him, but a part that should have belonged to him, and they were extremely harmonious. Team, traveling with the world. Isn't it brushing daily? Why not move? Ren followed suit and typed questions, with extremely fast hand speed. As I spoke this sentence, my fingers skillfully pressed one keyboard button after another, and my eyes fixed on the computer screen. He doesn't have the habit of browsing daily, nor does he like to browse daily. It's boring, and we have to gather a whole team. Excuse me. Now brushing once is like bullying a little monster to vent. Team, Flying Turtle. You don't need to worry. Ensi Ruo regained his senses, used his lightness skills, jumped into the next small monster group alone, switched the combo button, and launched an attack on all the small monsters. The other members of the team didn't dare to speak, but looked at the constantly scrolling numbers in the real-time damage data column of the team members in the upper right corner. Be well behaved. A level 132 monster can knock down a level 129 player with just one slap, leaving only 2/3 of their health. These two people are so good. Killing these little monsters is like patting mosquitoes. Not only does their blood not drop at all, but they even become more and more enthusiastic as they brush. The little monster group just refreshed and surprisingly disappeared within 2 seconds. This is not doing daily work, it's clearly a game to brush damage. The damage-causing numbers in the upper right corner of the column have all rolled up to a number that cannot be understood by the eyes at all. What is this? Team, Colorful Wonton. What's that? It's so strange. After completing the first task of a daily dragon, someone in the team said. Team, Ran Hongyue. It's really true. Team, Dreams of Mountains and Rivers. The first daily game was completed in less than 10 minutes, and it is estimated that it will not take 3 minutes to kill the boss. This can refresh the server record, right? The three of them are chatting, and a new message is refreshing in the World channel, System World. Players of Flying Turtle and accompanying the world won a fierce battle against Little Lotus, taking 2 minutes and 32 seconds, setting a new record in their server. How much? What's going on? 2 minutes. What about comparing speed to high-speed rail? The point doesn't seem to be this, my family. Didn't the great god of the world say no to that? Why are you suddenly brushing daily with the Flying Turtle now? Is there a new record? I seem to smell the smell of gossip. Smell the smell of some gossip. No gossip. There is just a tough guy who is about to turn 21 and wants to quickly finish his daily routine before going offline to sleep. Ensi Ruo simply hid the chat box window and put all his thoughts back on brushing daily. In the past, it used to take at least half an hour to brush with fixed teammates every day, but today it was completed within half an hour. Looking at the free daily double experience time, Ensi felt a little heartbroken. The few people who hung up in the team all thanked each other and withdrew from the team. Looking at the last one left, Ensi Ruo reluctantly clicked on the private chat box. Flying Turtle. Are you not leaving? Accompanying the world. I have helped you with your daily routine, isn't it worth saying thank you? She didn't ask anyone to help her brush it. Don't go too far. Flying Turtle. I didn't ask you to help me brush it. But I still did it, otherwise you wouldn't have finished it in half an hour, right? Okay, you would say, she gave up. Flying Turtle. Thank you. Ensi Ruo sighed and quickly typed a line in the dialog box. Okay. Can you please leave in the future, follow the world? Make friends. That line of text is not finished. If Ensi stops moving, press the back button to clear the dialog box. After calming down a bit, she thought about all the things that happened when she was forced to get married by the live broadcast of Not Poor Money. Upon careful consideration, her public confession of following the world was indeed inappropriate at that time. Even to the point of being unpleasant, her approach is no different from a live streaming forced marriage that doesn't cost any money. Moreover, she didn't even know traveling with the world at the time and didn't say a word to the other party. So he dragged an innocent person into the water, leaving a previously low-key and powerful person undisturbed by such gossip. Traveling with the world. What about people? Why didn't you speak? He furrowed his brows slightly, looked up, and after clearly seeing the other person's ID, a state of, the other person is inputting, appeared, and he felt a little relieved. The Flying Turtle. Yes. Traveling with the world. How about it? What do you think? Are you willing to accept my friend's request? Flying Turtle. Sorry. The man's hand, about to type, froze, and his deep green eyes trembled lightly. Soon, another new message came from over there. The Flying Turtle. I didn't think much about the live confession. The Flying Turtle. I was originally thinking of saying I had someone I liked and trying to persuade, not lacking money, to give up, but in the end Flying Turtle. I guess you've been disturbed by many people on the forum and in the game these past few days. I'm really sorry, traveling with the world. So now you don't have anyone you like, and you actually don't like me either. You just use me as a cover to refuse others. Are they all fake? Is that the point? Ensi tightly pursed her lips, suddenly feeling that her behavior seemed to hurt even more. But she still sent out the reply. Flying Turtle. Yes, I'm really sorry, I'm sorry. Ensi Ruo was typing on the keyboard again with a clattering sound, finally typing out a long message just as he was about to post it, only to find a prompt popping up in the private chat dialog box. The other party had already taken it offline. Offline. So fast. Ensi Ruo bit his nails unconsciously, looking confused. Are you angry or just don't want to talk to someone like her? She thought. She still sent the paragraph she typed over. As a result, a prompt popped up in the private chat dialog box. If the other party is not online, non-friend relationships will not be able to send offline messages. Tisk, what era is it? I can't even send offline messages. Ensi Ruo quickly clicked into the personal profile of Traveling with the World and applied to add friends. After finishing her daily routine, she temporarily lost the desire to continue playing games and habitually entered the game forum after closing the game. The game forum of Laughing Dream Jianghu is divided into several major sections, among which the most popular are game-related consultation and updates, as well as the two sections of Jianghu gossip. In the Jianghu gossip section, the most popular posts at the top are none other than 818, which stimulates the lower limit. Going down is the post area with the most replies and clicks in the current time period. After being rejected in public, did the two secretly cooperate to win a new record for the entire server? Ensi Ruo. UC should really find you guys who eat melons to write news, Lao Ren. Just after taking a shower, Tao Wenyao knocked on the door of the study and looked inside. In the specially elevated room, in front of the huge French window, the man with black hair and green eyes turned his head slightly after hearing the voice, and the strong facial lines were particularly eye-catching. The man remained silent, his expression gloomy like a wild wolf wary of his personality. A hint of anger could be read between his eyebrows, and his green eyes completely darkened. Tao Wenyao felt something was amiss and his back was cold. After saying to the man to take a shower, he hurriedly left like taking refuge. The room was quiet, and the fan of the laptop was still blowing, indicating that the screen of the game login had turned dark due to prolonged inactivity. Ah! I caught up. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. About You. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 About You. The friend application was sent out, but I didn't receive a reply for several days, was not rejected, and I also received a message of agreement. At the top of the private chat interface between her and Suishing Tianxia, the system read text that indicated that the two were not friends was glaring. Alas, Ensi Ruo sighed, and before going offline, he clicked on the leaderboard again. After confirming that the other person was still offline, Ensi Ruo had no choice but to close it. What's wrong? Traveling with the world, still ignored you. My roommate Yu Taozi asked on the side. Well, it's been several days and I haven't agreed to my friend's application, Ensi Ruo replied. I guess he's been quite angry. I inexplicably confessed, but as an innocent bystander, I am still being gossiped about by the whole game. Ensi Ruo sighed again. If it were me, I would also be extremely angry. Upon seeing this, Yu Taozi lightly patted her shoulder and said, Relax, maybe the world's gods are just too busy these days. If Ensi didn't speak, he glanced at his own game interface. Since the last live broadcast, several members of the fixed team have not been online at the same time. Not short of money, it has completely disappeared, and I have never played the game. Although this is a happy event for Ensi Ruo, and although there are still many people discussing it on the game forum, the popularity has clearly decreased significantly. On the other hand, she went with the world and played daily, but accidentally breaking records became a hot topic. I finally managed to get through one thing, but I never thought there was another, and even brought in an unrelated person. Having been in the game for so long, he has always been detached from these gossips. Now that he is forced to participate in these gossips, he probably doesn't feel well either. Upon reflection, she is truly guilty. Ensi Ruo sat up straight, opened the forum from the game interface, directly clicked on the Jianghu gossip section and decided to post. Yu Taozi stood behind her and couldn't help but ask, What are you doing? Ensi Ruo. Apologize. Atonement. Aren't you going to report on Lingdao Games tomorrow? You're not going to sleep, are you? I'm not afraid, I've slept enough in the past few days. Yu Taozi. Seek your own blessings. The next day, Lingdao Game Building. Gongzhou, the data and information you need. Well, just put it over here. After putting down the files, Ren walked out of the main producer's office and habitually yawned, lazily moving his body. When walking, there is a carefree expression on the temples. At 9 o'clock in the morning, just after work hours, the entire game team was mostly occupied, and everyone was busy with their work. The office was still quite lively. As soon as he returned to his desk, Tao Wenyao, who was sitting behind Ren, called him with a gossipy expression on his face. Ren said, What are you doing? The flying turtle posted on the forum, Tao Wenyao said mysteriously. Seeing that Ren didn't react, he added, "It's about you." Ren frowned slightly and didn't say a word. He just walked up to Tao Wenyao and saw him click on the forum before entering a post marked as popular. "When did this happen?" he asked, his voice low and devoid of any emotion. His green eyes were actually much more serious and careful than those of Tao Wenyao. "Just last night, it was almost early in the morning." Tao Wenyao said, "You haven't been online for several days, haven't you? I was thinking that you probably don't know yet." After the web page was loaded, before Tao Wenyao could passionately summarize the content of the post, the mouse was snatched away by Ren on the side, and he even lost his position standing in front of his computer. Tao Wenyao. At this moment, my colleague Zhu Yu happened to call him. "Tao Wenyao, come and help me look at this code." Ren stood alone in front of the computer, forgetting even to sit down. The title of the post is, "For those who are tired of eating melons, please take a look at the confession of the flying turtle." Pull down, the poster's ID matches the game ID, and confirm that it is the ID that doesn't seem to have anything to do with girls. Flying turtle. It's really her. Let's continue to slide down. The content of the post is not long, mainly aimed at the refusal of the poster's flying turtle, who was the target of the confession during the live broadcast of Not Poor Money a few days ago. "I had no choice but to confess to someone else, and I also asked all the onlookers not to bother and discuss this matter too much with those who have nothing to do with it, that is, traveling with the world." Every word and sentence in the post is written very carefully, with a gentle and sincere tone. The people who replied below seemed to be persuaded and posted one after another. 1L. Sure, this matter has nothing to do with the great gods of the world. When we eat melons, there is no need to evaluate the great gods too much. 2L. It is said that the person being confessed is LZ, and this matter was initiated because of her not lacking money. Why is LZ now speaking up? As a female player, I really want to say that many girls dislike being chased and confessed in public. 4L. Wu Jia is also too kind. She didn't pursue anything after being publicly confessed, and now she even talks to the person she likes instead. 5L. I'm just a burst cry. Okay, family. Where can I find such a gentle and careful girl? 6L. Woo 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 woo, I'm a bit eager to revisit the slicing at the confession scene. 7L. +10086, it's really easy to cry. Even if the person you like refuses, you still firmly choose not to hurt that person. Ensi Ruo. Is this the theme of the post? She clearly wanted to tell the melon-eating crowd not to disturb the purity of the great gods in the world. Their great god is innocent. What's going on with her? How could this group of melon-eating people make up their minds like this? What kind of brain circuit is this? Ensi Ruo and Lu Qingzhe, come with me. Ensi Ruo put away his phone, and just as he finished sighing, someone pushed open the door of the conference room. The person who came is HR He Minmin from Lingdao Games, responsible for receiving the interns who passed the Dream Toucher project, completing various registration procedures with them, and reporting to various game groups. Ensi Ruo and an intern named Lu Qingzhe were assigned to a group, and after completing their registration, He Minmin took them up the elevator and briefly introduced all the games currently under the Lingdao game brand. From the most popular large-scale online games such as Laughing Dream Jianghu, Star Mage, Frontline, to various casual games, and finally to some games under development. Just finished speaking, the elevator happened to stop on the 14th floor. As he stepped out of the elevator, He Minmin continued, "Remember, you two are on the 14th floor. This floor has just been renovated, and there are coffee and sports rest areas over there. You can go there to relax during your usual rest time. There is currently only one game group on the 14th floor, which is the group where you two are present. This group is a new project in the mobile game department, and with the addition of the two of you, there are about 20 people in the entire group. Compared to the other groups, there are fewer people and they get to know each other quickly." Speaking, He Minmin pushed open the office door with a plaque hanging on it. Another intern, Lu Qingzhe, followed in, while Ensi Ruo was at the back. Before entering, he instinctively looked up at the nameplate on the glass door. Above it is written, Little Forest Game Group. At this moment, He Minmin, who was walking ahead, said, Producer Gong, I have brought you the new intern from your group. Ensi Ruo withdrew his gaze and looked ahead, slowing down his pace. In a daze, a tall figure rushed into her sight. Still stepping in, one shift today, and tomorrow May Day will officially be off for everyone to make up for it. Waiting for the nest. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Is completely different. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 is completely different. Gong De is planning. I have brought you the interns from your group. He Minmin walked forward, raised his voice slightly, and said to Gongsun, who was discussing with others not far away. Many people followed the sound and their gaze fell on Ensi Ruo and Lu Qingzhe behind He Minmin. Tao Wenyao, who was one step late, quickly shifted his gaze away from the computer screen and looked up at that place. Sleeping trough. After seeing the person coming, Tao Wenyao widened his eyes. What's wrong with you? Zhu Yu glanced at Tao Wenyao, frowning slightly, and followed suit. At the entrance of the office, Ensi Ruo stood at the back, almost 1.7 meters tall, with a slender figure, fair as jade, and a balanced and delicate skin tone. A simple meatball, with messy hair around the ears, but appears more agile. A small face the size of a palm, a rare three-dimensional bone shape among Easterners, with a smooth face shape, bright and lively peach blossom eyes, sharp and thin corners, like finely crafted jewelry, and a tall and delicate nose that exudes charm. Her lips are full and rosy, bright and beautiful. Even if she dresses casually, she is not inferior to the existence of those female celebrities. Wherever she is, it is a delightful oil painting with strong and bright eyes. So beautiful, Zhu Yu sighed lightly. Tao Wenyao looked straight and didn't move. Across from the two, Ren paid no attention to the commotion. While listening to Gongsun and He Minmin's courtesy, he silently closed the forum webpage, withdrew his hand, and stood up straight. It was still hot in Nanjiang City in early September. Shortly after 9 o'clock in the morning, the sun fell out of the window and hit him gently. His height of 1.85 meters ensures that he will not be easily overwhelmed even in the crowd. His tall and straight figure with outstretched arms is as imposing as a poplar standing in the wind. When the dazzling morning sun shone on him, it added a touch of invincibility to the world. Old Ren. School flower. Tao Wenyao spoke again at this moment. Zhu Yu glanced at him and said, Are you the school flower of C University of Technology? Tao Wenyao said, That's right. Didn't I say it before? Our C University of Technology has a very beautiful school flower. It's her. Her name is Ensi Ruo. Zhu Yu nodded and said, It's really beautiful. That's for sure. When the school flower voted, I was steadfast in pushing her. My vision is never wrong. Tao Wenyao snorted lightly, looking even more imposing than the protagonist in his words. Zhu Yu's face was full of impatience, and she slapped Tao Wenyao hard on the back. Stop talking nonsense here, hurry up and work. Hush. Sister Yu, please be gentle. Tao Wenyao quickly took a deep breath and continued to obediently look at the computer and code. Ren followed with a faint expression. Listening to these words, he leisurely turned around and his deep green eyes almost caught sight of the person standing at the office door in an instant. Despite a long distance, he still saw the other person clearly and confirmed that they were also looking at him. He didn't move, his expression on the person's face remained unchanged. He neither shifted his gaze nor showed any emotion in it, as if he was looking at an unrelated person. Ensi was stunned, his words echoed in his ear as his roommate Yutauzi spoke, they all work in the same building, maybe. When Ren Dashen was still in school, we would bow to Ren Dashen's photo at the end of the semester, praying that we wouldn't fail if we passed. I don't know how Ren Dashen is now, is he still as handsome as before, and does he have a girlfriend? She really met Ren along with her. In this building, which is over 30 floors high, such a clever encounter was made. Ensi unconsciously clenched her hand as she thought, feeling either happy or surprised by such a coincidence. She blinked, and before she could see the other person's expression clearly, her thoughts were interrupted by the conversation between He Minmin and Gongsun in front of her, and she quickly withdrew her gaze. He Minmin. Okay, then you'll leave them to you. I'll leave first. Thank you, Miss Min. Take your time, Gongsun said. After He Minmin left, Gongsun's gaze turned back to the two people in front of him and led them into his office. Look at what I said. I said Ensi Ruo would definitely be assigned to our group. After the three of them left, Tao Wenyao began to speak poorly again. Zhu Yu sneered at him coldly. What does this matter have to do with you? It's okay. Tao Wenyao replied, if it weren't for my sincere prayer, the heavens wouldn't have made this decision. Old Ren, what do you say? The person whose name was called did not move. He was still looking at the place, even though no one was there for a long time. In that indifferent gaze just now, there was a hint of strange emotions. His eyes were blazing with flames. Yes, your prayer has been fulfilled. After a while, he spoke softly. My name is Gongsun, and I am the main producer of the game project team for Little Forest. In the small office, Gongsun's voice was heard very clearly. A game development team requires a large number of personnel. The person who can lead these people forward, find accurate goals, and control game production and progress is the game producer, the soul of the entire team. When it comes to status, it is roughly equivalent to the head of a department. Ensi Ruo nodded respectfully towards Gong Xian. Lu Qingzhe, who was accompanying her on the side, was much more enthusiastic and even introduced himself to Gong Xian. Ensif's reaction slowed down a bit and he followed suit by saying his own name. I have briefly reviewed the information of both of you, both of whom are interns of the Dream Toucher project. I know this, so there's no need to say more. Gongsun raised his hand, indicating that they don't need to continue. Lu Qingzhe, I see that you have rich experience and have also interned at other game companies. You can go to the programming team. Speaking, Gongsun looked at Ensi Ruo and said, Ensi Ruo, your resume is also good, but your experience is too limited and your understanding of the game field is not comprehensive enough. You can go to the testing group. Test group. In the game development team, apart from the main producer and planner, as well as the positions of system, gameplay level, plot, and numerical planning, it can be simply divided into 3 groups. These 3 groups are respectively the art group responsible for the original painting, characters, and scenes. Members of the group need to have sufficient knowledge and experience in painting, and be proficient in modeling various characters and scenes. The program team responsible for game framework development and overall design is one of the main craftsmen who connect these characters and scenes, responsible for both development and performance coordination and repair. The major studied by Ensi Ruo University is also related to this aspect. She originally intended to join the program group. But now, she has been informed that she wants to join the testing team. The job responsibilities of the testing team and the game development team are completely different from what she initially thought of as a programming team. The daily task of the testing team is to develop a testing plan according to the instructions of the R&D team, identify defects and bugs in the game during testing, track and manage them, and clearly describe them as reports. At the same time, it is necessary to have a certain understanding of all games on the market, be proficient in all types of games, have a deep understanding of test games, and propose changes and modifications to the games. These are completely different from what she initially thought. Unexpectedly, May Day is still very busy. Let's make up for it tomorrow. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Take it as it comes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Take it as it comes if Ensi was completely foolish, but judging from Gongsun's appearance, it must have been decided long ago. Moreover, she is here to work, not to become an uncle. How could a decided job and group be changed at will? Although she did not systematically learn about game testing, when she came to work, many things had to be learned again and learned again. Instead of worrying about not being assigned to the desired group, it's better to focus all your thoughts on how to learn and adapt to new job responsibilities. Ensi Ruo took a deep breath, suppressed all emotions, and his heart became slightly more firm. Gongsun assigned the group and got up to walk to the door of his office. He opened the door and called for the two of them, Ren Sui and Yi Jia, "You two come in and out." Upon hearing the familiar name, Ensi quickly turned around. In the limited field of view outside the office, Ren's figure and face gradually became clear, and he walked quickly towards the office. He wears a work badge that all Spirit Island game employees will have around his neck, a white T-shirt paired with a denim shirt, casual and basic, simple yet tasteful. The face is an unforgettable exquisite mixed-race face, with those green eyes always calm as water when looking at people, without any ups and downs. "This is Ren Yi, the leader of the program group," Gongsun introduced, giving a few simple instructions before letting Ren Yi leave with Lu Qingzhe to his post. Is he actually the leader of the program team? When she was in school, Ren was 2 years older than her, and she was also older than her. She was only 25 years old this year, and surprisingly, she had already served as the leader of the program team in a game project group. He is indeed a university bully in school, it's like this, and even after work, it's still the same. Ensi Ruo wants to. At this moment, Gongsun raised his hand and introduced another woman who had just arrived with Ren. "The leader of your testing team has recently taken leave, and this is Yi Jia, the deputy leader of the testing team. In the future, she will guide you to familiarize yourself with the work. If you don't understand anything, ask her more and learn slowly." Yi Jia was dressed in a casual neutral style, with a high ponytail and a slight touch of light makeup. She seemed to be about the same age as Ensi Ruo, but after years of hard work in her position, she developed a strong aura. "Hello," Yi Jia took the initiative to extend her hand and say hello. Ensi Ruo quickly grabbed the other person's hand and greeted them. Under Gongsun's arrangement, he followed Yi Jia out of the office and walked towards the completely opposite right side when Ren Yi and Lu Qingzhe left just now. The sound of Gongsun's office door being closed came. Ren Yi, who was briefly introducing his job responsibilities, moved his eyes slightly and suddenly changed direction. "Zhu Yu," he said, "I'll leave it to you to bring the newcomers," Ren said. Zhu Yu replied, "Okay." After handing over the task, Ren then returned to his desk. Before sitting down, he lifted his eyes to look across from him. A slender figure was reflected in his green eyes, and something seemed to be rolling in his eyes. In just a moment, everything dissipated and he resumed his work. "You came quite coincidentally." During this period, the testing team happened to be on a break and had limited work. "We won't officially start testing all aspects of the new map and activities for Little Forest until tomorrow. So today, just take a look at the material I gave you and familiarize yourself with the work environment and pace." Yi Jia is a responsible person who, while leading Ensi Ruo to his position, carefully and thoughtfully introduced everything. From office construction, to work precautions, and finally to the main tasks of the testing team, including weekly group meetings. I also added WeChat and brought people into the work group of the entire game group of Little Forest. "Thank you, sister." Ensi Ruo politely thanked me. "No need, you need to rest first. I still need to make a phone call, you can learn it yourself." After saying that, Yi Jia quickly left. Seeing off Yi Jia, Ensi Ruo breathed a sigh of relief, looked around, then at his empty desk and computer, and slowly sat down. Just then, someone beside me asked, "Hey, are you the new intern in the testing team?" The person who took the initiative to talk is a girl, who looks similar in age to Ensi Ruo. The voice and tone of the speaker are very kind, dressed in a gorgeous European-style dress that is completely different from the office style, and even wearing a big bow on the head, the appearance is particularly cute and playful. If Ensi knows, this is a style called Lolita that has been particularly popular in recent years. Hello, I am Zhou Ran from the art group next door, responsible for the original scene painting. I have only been here for a while, Zhou Ran replied with a smile. Ensi nodded and immediately saw the large digital screen on Zhou Ran's desk. Hello, my name is Ensi Ruo. Ensi Ruo smiled in response. Perhaps because they were all girls and had just joined the company, Ensi Ruo whispered to Zhou Ran about various things in the office while flipping through the documents in his hand. The atmosphere in our office is still good, after all, it's not a large-scale online game project team. Although there are few people, everyone is very friendly and lively. Zhou Ranjing was speaking, and his body unconsciously moved closer to Ensi Ruo's side, completely oblivious to someone approaching in the direction of the gap next to him. Ensi Ruo was speaking while looking at the information, clearly not noticing. Until interrupted by that person's voice, "What are we chatting about during working hours?" Zhou Ran and Ensi Ruo were both frightened and quickly turned their heads in the direction of the man's voice. Yao Gu. You almost scared me to death. After seeing who it was, Zhou Ran breathed a sigh of relief and couldn't help but complain. If Ensi didn't speak, he looked at Tao Wenyao's appearance and suddenly felt a bit familiar, but he couldn't remember when he had seen him. Just your courage, Xiaoran. Cats say they are bold when they see you. Tao Wenyao joked, turning his gaze to Ensi Ruo and shouting eagerly, Junior sister, do you recognize who I am? Ensi Ruo blinked and stared at Tao Wenyao for a moment before suddenly searching for memories related to him. She nodded and said, I know you. Tao Wenyao, who had originally approached in this way, seemed to have not anticipated Ensi Ruo's answer. He was taken aback for a moment, and then his eyes lit up. Do you know me? Really? It seems like we haven't talked much at school. You actually know me. Tao Wenyao's heart was instantly filled with joy, and he smiled so much that the corners of his mouth were almost on the tip of his ear, like a flower lover. Ensi was a step late before realizing what he had just said, but seeing Tao Wenyao's excited expression, his worried heart finally eased slightly. Before she could have been grateful for long, Tao Wenyao asked, so how did you get to know me? Ah. Ensi was stunned, her mind blank. In the only memories, there are only those afternoons when I finish classes every day, scenes of countless encounters with people in the cafeteria, and then passing by. In those unchanging scenes, she always stands not far away, watching the people coming and going, observing them. Finally, she pretended to be casual and set her gaze on the boys sitting around the dining table in the cafeteria. Among those boys, there is always a pair of deep green eyes that she cannot forget. Here we go. End of this chapter.